Welcome to the Community Difference-Rockwall, powered by the Difference Media LLC and sponsored by Delisa Lapinsky Realty Group, Speakeasy Restaurant and Bar, Town Square Mortgage, The One Group, Barnaby Heating and Air, Minuteman Press, Rockwall, and by WeatherTech General Contracting.
The Community Difference-Rockwall was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals.
So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference-Rockwall starts now.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the brand new first show, the Community Difference-Rockwall. I am Lendon Wilson, creator of the Difference Media LLC. We created this about 4 years ago as a way to bring video branding to small businesses. And it's kind of evolved over the years until we started just creating community shows that still spotlight the small businesses within the community. But we also want to bring more awareness to what's going on within the community, the schools, the social leaders, community leadership. Different initiatives. We're going to talk a little bit about the, elections when they come up, not to get deep into the weeds of campaigning and all the dirty things that go on with that. That's not where we go. This is an upbeat and positive show. And we just want to bring out and make the folks aware of all the good things that are happening in Rockwall and our other community shows. Right now, we have a show in Wiley. We have a show in Denton. We've got a new show starting in just a couple of weeks. It'll be in Frisco, and then obviously the Rockwall show. We've got a couple of ones on the back burner right now. We're looking at Rowlett, actually, and a couple other locations as well. McKinney, to name one. And then we have some actually out of town. They've reached out to us because of what we've been able to do with the communities. We're looking at Waco, and then the Woodlands down by Houston. So that's going to be pretty interesting to get out of the DFW Metroplex. But we just want to keep doing the good things that we can to help the amazing people and the events within those communities be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So how does this work? Well, what we do is just like any television show, radio show, we have co-hosts and we have sponsors. The co-hosts are going to be from the community, and they're going to talk about the things that are going on in the community and their impact on the community as well. And they're what makes the show go. And so today, with it being the first show, we're just going to introduce all of our co-hosts that we have so far. We still have some spots available. We're going to introduce the co-hosts and just get to know them a little bit, who they are, what they do, why they do it, and their attachment and affinity for the community of Rockwall. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and bring them in now. I'm going to bring in Mr. Frank McLeod, Mr. Charlie Barnaby, Alan Lester, Tamara, Kolleck, and Delisa Lapinsky. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Great. Very well.
Good.
So it seemed like forever that we were trying to get this thing off the ground. I know Frank and I have been working on this probably 6 or 7 months, right, Frank?
I believe that's about right.
Yeah. And so we finally got it going. It's here. It's time. I'm excited about it. One of the things that I love is the fact that not only do we bring a lot of good information about our communities, but we get to know everybody on the show on more of a personal level than a professional level. And that's what we want our community to know, is that the hardworking people are just like you. They're trying to make the same things happen you're trying to make happen. They love the community. They love the schools. They love all the businesses in the community, what we want to bring the attention to. So we're going to start, and we're going to go ahead now and introduce everybody, or let you introduce yourselves. So we're going to start ladies first. We're going to go with Delisa first. Delisa, if you would, tell everybody a little bit, tell who you are, what you do, and we'll move through then to the rest.
Sure. Thank you. I'm Delisa Lapinsky, and I'm a local real estate professional here in the Rockwall area. And prior to real estate, I was an educator for 16 years.
All right. Tamara, what about you?
Hello, everybody. I'm Tamara Kolleck. My husband and I, we both run Ramen Head and Speak Rockwall, new speakeasy, a restaurant that we just opened in June of this year. And Ramen Head has been open for 3 years. So, and we also own Sloan Sweet Treats. So we're at the trifecta mark right now, and it's been going great.
All right. Well, thank you for being a part of the show. I'm going to go with Charlie Barnaby next.
Hi, Charlie Barnaby. I own Barnaby Heating and Air. We service, we're out of Rowlett, but we service the Rockwall, all the surrounding areas. Just try to take good care of you.
All right. And Frank?
Hey, everybody. I'm Frank McLeod. I own Minuteman Press in Rockwall. I run that business with my son, Tyler. And I bought the business about 5 years ago. I was in the paper business for a long time and actually bought one of my customers. And it's the best move. I wished I had done it about 10 years earlier, but I'm very happy with it.
All right. Thank you, Frank. And then last but not least is Alan Lester. Alan and I have been friends for quite a while. And Alan's been on several other shows that we've had. We've done some different things together, video branding. And Alan has also been one that's been instrumental in trying to get this Rockwall show going. So, Alan, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Frank. But, Alan, tell everybody who you are if they don't know.
I appreciate you having me on. So I'm Alan Lester. I'm a branch manager of Town Square Mortgage. We're located out of Dallas, but I've lived in Rockwall since 2005. So obviously I want to do this so we can help grow our brands and, help us all be a lot more successful in Rockwall.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for being on. And I'm going to, I want to just start. We've got, obviously we take a couple breaks. We have sponsors that makes everything happen. So I want to be able to talk to you now or let you talk about what you love about the community of Rockwall. Tell everybody a little bit about how long you've been there and what brought you to Rockwall and what you love about it. And Tamara, if you want to go first, we'll let you go first.
Let's see. I think next month we're coming on 10 years of moving from Southern California to Rockwall. My husband and I have been in business since we've gotten here, various businesses, but in particular in the restaurant business, we opened Ramen Head in 2019, just before COVID hit. So we had a few months and then we were shut down and then we opened back up. It went well for us. And then we just kind of grew from there and we opened up Sloan Sweet Treats just 5 doors down or 4 doors down. And then this year we opened our speakeasy, which is very close by there. And it's been going great. So we've been open since June now, and we love Rockwall, and it's been good to us. So we're very grateful to be here and be involved in the community and be able to serve people and meet people, new people every day. It's been great for us.
Well, I just want to give a big shout out to Speak. If you haven't been, if you're a Rockwallian or around the area and you haven't been, you're missing out. And so we'll be sharing information on how to visit that place as well. Tamara, you moved from California. What was the biggest transition in moving from California to Texas and specifically Rockwall?
Honestly, well, it's been nearly 10 years, so Rockwall has changed a lot since then.
Yes, it has.
In 10 years, it's just totally boomed. So there was a lot of things that weren't here before then. And that's kind of what drove us to the direction of opening restaurants, because in Southern California where we lived, there was just, you could throw a rock and hit a good restaurant, and it was just so readily available to you. And the diversity of food in Rockwall back then when we first got here wasn't as diverse and growing as it is now. So we really strive to bring things to Rockwall that weren't here. And that's kind of our main goal as we open more things, going forward. So it's worked well for us.
Now, Rockwall 10 years ago did have a Grandy's. They had a Grandy's. So.
I hear this running joke on Rockwallian about it nearly in almost every post. Unfortunately, I was not, fortunate enough to eat at the, glorious Grandy's.
That was fine dining back then.
I hear people just can't let go of it,
Nope, they can't. Delisa, Delisa, tell everybody, a little bit more about you and what you love about Rockwall.
So I moved out here 16 and a half years ago, and it was really quite by accident because I had a friend that moved out to the Fate area, and we kept coming out here, and I just loved, number one, I loved just being away from the city because I'm originally from the Dallas area, but I love the community and the small town feeling. One day, and I mean, I remember it was on Valentine's Day, February 14th, I came out and I said, you know what? I'm spending more time here than I am out in Dallas. This is really where I want to be. And just like Tamara said, I mean, when I moved out here 16 and a half years ago, there's a lot that has grown and developed. But I still think that we've kept a lot of the small town values and that community feeling. And it certainly doesn't, for me, hurt that we're right near the water as well, because I'll be on the water anytime I can get out there.
Right.
But I do, my parents had lived out in the country. I love that smaller town feeling. And even though we're losing some of that, we still have a real sense of community. And I think that's important.
Right. I agree with you there. And I think that, one of the things in doing these shows, what I'm noticing, is there is a strong intention through the local leadership to try to keep that small town. So even though you are allowing progress to happen and bringing more opportunities, to the community, you're trying to keep that small town feel. But one of the most important parts is the people, right? It's the people that's what keeps the small town feel. It really is. It's the connections that you make. It's the organizations that you're a part of. And that's really one thing that has stood out to me is, and when we talk about the Wiley show, when we talk about the Denton show, and I lived in Rockwall for 13 years, it is the community of people and how they support each other and work with each other and help each other that really, for me, brings that small town feel to the top.
And you're absolutely right. There isn't a day that goes by where you see someone reaching out, whether it be on Facebook or Rockwallian or wherever, either needing help or wanting to support someone, and everybody jumps on board. Yep. Everybody's there to support and help. And you don't get that feeling everywhere. And I think that's what makes the Rockwall area really special.
I agree. Charlie, what do you got to say? Tell me a little bit about your experience in Rockwall. And I mean, I know that I saw one of your trucks here in Wiley the other day, so I know you're business-wise, you're wide and far, but you're a Rockwall guy. Tell me what you love about it.
Well, actually, I live in Rowlett, but we go to Rockwall a lot. I've been here since '97. When we moved to Rowlett, there were 28 police officers. There's over 100 now. So the growth has been crazy. I like Rockwall more for the small town feel. Like you go to the little cigar joint we hang out in, El Dorado. Everybody they act like they've known each other for years, and that's what I like. Mm-hmm. I don't want to live somewhere where we're packed like rats and nobody talks to each other.
Isn't that the truth? I'll second your talk about the cigar shop. That's where I met several of you for the first time. And I know several of you spend a lot of time there. I won't say a lot of time, but that's a good place for you to go. But that's one thing I noticed, Charlie, when I went in there. I mean, I met y'all for the first time, but there was people there that weren't even part of our conversation, and all of them were friendly and very welcoming. And so that's just, that's another thing we want people to know about. So good shout out to El Dorado too.
Yep. And Tamara, my daughter, loves it.
Thank you.
All right.
Makes me happy.
Alan Lester, you've been in Rockwall as long as I can remember. So, that's where you and I met, was in Rockwall. And talk a little bit about your love for Rockwall. And you've had kids that have gone to school there. Tell everybody what's so great about Rockwall.
Well, I did. I think, like I said earlier, I moved out here in 2005, and I came from Dallas, and I knew once the kids got to school age, they weren't going to school in Dallas. So luckily, and this is when you and I used to work together, Lendon, they moved out here, and we just happened to start with our company, World Savings, back in the day, where the office was down over where the new where the 24-hour fitness is. And then we got settled in, and we just figured out once our kids got into schools, just how much we love the schools and how so much different it is. But I mean, ultimately, like everybody's been saying here, it's just all about the community. I've never once lived anywhere. I've lived in Kaufman. I've lived in Dallas. That feels like such a small town, even though it's not small anymore. But talking about the cigar shop, I think the first time I met Frank was at the cigar shop, and I think I've seen Charlie up there pretty much every week. We're in there every Wednesday night. But it's just, full of a bunch of veterans, and everybody just knows everybody, and everybody loves everybody. So that's one of the things that just keeps me coming.
Awesome. Frank, what about you?
I've been in Rockwall since 1984, and it's completely changed since we first moved out here. I got home from school one day, my junior year, and my dad said your sister's going to be a freshman next year, and there is no way in hell she's going to Bryan Adams High School. So he put the house on the market, and we moved to Rockwall.
I've been there.
And I've been in Rockwall since. Moved away for college for a few years, but Rockwall has been my home since 1984.
All right. Well, it's time for our first break. We're going to take that first break right now, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the show, what we're going to try to accomplish with the show, how we're going to work together. We talked about community. We're building community here within the show. We're going to talk a little bit about that and why that's important to you all. So everybody stick around. We will be right back.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Texas Edge Insurance. We're more than just an insurance company. We're your partners in protection. We understand that every person and every business is unique. That's why we don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach to insurance. We work with you to create a customized insurance plan that meets your specific needs. And we're always here to help you, no matter what. We offer a wide range of insurance products. We also work with over 30 insurance companies to find you the best possible coverage. So what are you waiting for? Contact Texas Edge Insurance today. Visit our website or give us a call at 817-406-2929 to get a free quote today. Introducing Bankroll Media, a digital marketing partner designed to take your business to the next level. At Bankroll Media, we are a team of creative and innovative marketers that works with mortgage loan officers, realtors, many e-commerce businesses, and much more. At Bankroll Media, we're different because you're different. We get it, and that's why we're here. We're not your typical marketing agency. We don't believe in cookie-cutter solutions or one-size-fits-all approaches. We believe in building relationships with our clients and understanding their unique needs. We want to understand your business inside and out so that we can create marketing campaigns that are tailored to your specific needs. From social media management, lead generation, web design to content creation and SEO, even email marketing. Bankroll Media can do it all. Bankroll Media, building presence, connecting ideas.
And now back to the show.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are here, the first episode of the Community Difference-Rockwall, a brand new show featuring Rockwall's business professionals and spotlighting and showcasing all the wonderful things that are going on in Rockwall, the people, places, and events. So now we're going to talk, since this is our first show, we want to just have a discussion about what inspired you to want to be a part of this show. What do you want to see this show do for you, your business partners, as well as all the people and things that are going on in Rockwall. So I'm just gonna let you guys go now. Who wants to go first with this?
I'll go.
All right.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was a really cool concept when I met you in the cigar shop that night and you ran us through it. It's a good way to get our name out, get involved with the community. It's just a win-win. Even when, if anybody knows a little bit about how Google works, just your reels and the spiders from them your organic ratings are just going to skyrocket. But the biggest thing is get involved with the community, so you know what's going on and you can let people know what's going on.
Great answer. Next.
I'll go.
All right.
Well, I think for us, although we have other establishments that have been more cemented into the Rockwall community, opening up a new one just in this past June, it's been really great. And I would love to let people know about Speak and what we have to offer and, all the amazing things that we're doing. And because it is a speakeasy, the challenging part is like having people know about us with still having that mystery about us at the same time. So it's a push-pull situation, but I love to be involved in the community, and I've been involved down here, in the past. And, we've just been kind of putting our heads down and hitting the grind and just working our businesses. And now it's, nice to take a breath of fresh air and get back to being involved and telling people of all the amazing, great things going on in Rockwall. That, maybe they don't have an outlet to hear about or don't hear about it often. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice opportunity to connect to other business owners, let people know what's going on in the community while letting people know about our own business and what we have to offer. And, we have some really fun events coming up that we have planned through the rest of the year. And I would love the opportunity to let people know, what's going on and fun things that they can do, for date night and, without kids and for having that special time with your partner. So
absolutely,
it's exciting.
That's a great point that she brings up, Frank, and that is, working with the other businesses in the community. And Frank, I know you've been on the show before, and a couple of different ones that we've had, and you've brought on one of the guys from the Mesquite Rodeo. So talk about that a little bit, about how advantageous it is to have a spot like this and be able to highlight and showcase all of your business associates. I know you're part of the chamber, you're part of the B&I group, right? And so now you have a platform and an opportunity not only to shine the light on Minuteman Press, but to also shine the light on other businesses that like, love, and support, and help them with our tagline, be seen, be heard, and be remembered.
Sure. One of my favorite things about owning my own business is the marketing end of it. And I'm always looking for a new way and a new strategy to do marketing to promote my business and promote other businesses. That's kind of what we do, is we help other businesses grow. And I've known you, Lendon, for about 3.5 years probably. We've hung out, gone on vacations, and our wives are best friends. So just knowing you and hearing you talk about it over a couple of years, I kept thinking that we really need something like this in Rockwall. And then you approached me and said you were wanting to open a Rockwall show, and I was on board from the minute you told me about it. The only problem I had is I'm not a technical guy. I've never watched it, so I didn't know how it worked. So I needed you to kind of teach me how it works and what it does. And I think it's going to be a great avenue for business owners here in the Rockwall area.
I think so too. I mean, we've already proven that over the 4 years that we've been doing shows like this. We've had, over 4 million viewers total on the shows that we've had collectively. We've had over 1,800 guests. So if you're thinking about networking, that's a really expansive way to network, talk about business, talk about your community, and allow a lot of people to see and get to know you, a little bit better. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. So it was interesting because I had no preconceived notion of what the difference was about. And so Frank had invited me to come and, matter of fact, to El Dorado. And what really intrigued me was, as a small business owner, being able to support other small businesses. Mm-hmm. And to let the community know what other small businesses are out there, but also for us to be able to provide factual information. There's so much information that is out there that is not true, but for us to be able to go directly to the sources and find out what's really going on in our community. And the networking aspect, Frank and I met, 3-4 years ago, and it was through networking through the chamber. And you don't really realize how many other small businesses there are here in the Rockwall area. And to be able to support each other, to be able to get to know each other, and quite frankly, to be able to just hang out and have a good time.
Well, Delisa, that's such a good point, because you're right. I mean, one of the things that we did when we started doing these shows is we would actually poll people within the community and find out who they knew that were business owners. And a lot of them didn't know. They knew the major chains, right? They knew the Home Depots, they knew the Lowe's, they knew Walmart. But when you start asking them who does heating and air in your community, they didn't know. And so that's when you start to realize that one of the biggest challenges of small businesses is obscurity, right? Not enough people know who we are and what we're doing. And so how do you overcome obscurity? Well, you've got to get your message out there, and you've got to do it frequently and consistently. And nothing is better in serving that purpose than social media and video platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, Instagram, different things like that. But the other component of that is knowing how to use it right so that you're not being salesy and annoying, right? Yeah. And one of the best ways to do that is to be able to share that spotlight with other people. No one will ever get tired of hearing you talk about the greatness of someone else. They just don't do it. We just have a natural reaction and instinct when people start singing other people's praises to tune in and listen and pay attention, right? We want to know, we want to hear, we want to know what's so great about them. And so that's a great way for us to stay top of mind. Is it self-serving? Not at all. It's just part of the culture and part of who we are. We should want everybody in the community of Rockwall to know about all of our professional buddies and what they're doing so well, right? So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to get ready to hit another break. When we come back, we're going to finish this conversation a little bit. And then I've got some more questions I want to ask you to get to know a little bit more about your business. So everybody stick around. We will be right back.
The Community Difference Rockwall is brought to you in part by Alan Lester, loan officer with the One Group with Town Square Mortgage. Delisa Lapinsky with Lapinsky Realty Group. Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press. Tamara Kolleck with Speak. Charles Barnaby with Barnaby Heating and Air. And Josh Small with WeatherTech General Contracting. If you, or someone you know would like to sponsor, or be a co-host sponsor of this show, or other shows like it, please give us a call at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com. And now, back to the show.
All right, everybody, thank you for sticking around. We are halfway done with today's show. It's going by a little faster than what I would hope. Most of our shows are going to be 75 minutes because this is an intro pilot show today. We're just only doing 60 minutes. So in this segment, this next 15-minute segment, I want to ask each one of you some questions, okay? This is more of a allow everybody that doesn't know you to get to know you on more of a personal basis. So the first question is, we're going to go with, let me see, we'll go with Alan on this one. Alan, what's your favorite place in Rockwall to grab a bite to eat?
Is this a trick question, Tamara?
You better answer right.
I haven't to go in to speak yet for dinner, but as of now, it's been 303.
It's a good place. It is a very good place.
Say that one again.
Ben 303, which is
Okay.
right around the corner from Tamara.
I
Okay.
also enjoy Ben. It's a great place, so
And
I'm not mad at you.
But I do love ramen too. Ramen head.
So, all right, this one's for you, Tamara.
Sure.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's really hard. That's a really hard question, especially for someone who loves food. I mean, how do you choose one thing?
I don't know. You got to have a favorite.
Oh gosh. Honestly, I feel like if I moved to Japan, that I could live there and I could eat fresh sushi every day and not be tired of it.
Yeah. It's so much variety with sushi. It's really hard to
Yes.
to have the same thing. I mean, there's so many varieties. All right. So this one's for Charles. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't do karaoke.
That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you, because I'm the same way. If you ask me that question, I'm out. I'm out.
Okay,
Not doing
I'll
it.
clear the house, my friend. I promise you.
Yep.
There's not enough drinks. Not enough drinks to make that happen.
No. So, all right. So I'll give you another one, Charlie. I'll save that one for Frank. He's got to have a karaoke song. So, Charlie, what's one skill you'd like to learn or improve on?
Probably flying private airplanes.
Okay, so it's not hang gliding or the.
No,
so it's actually with a motor.
Yeah, I've had a pilot's license for about 35 years, but you can always get better. And I hadn't flown in about 15 because it got so expensive. But yeah, I'd like to get back into it on my skills because it's pretty cool.
See, I think that's super cool, Charlie, because like me and my like survivalist, what if worst case scenario, I think of people and I hear people have like these special skills that they have. I'm like, oh, Charlie would be a good person to add to your survivalist group who has that like special skill. If you needed to like get away, he could fly us somewhere.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I want to say real quick, thank you, Matt Kern, for watching. Matt Kern is the host of the Denton Show, and so we want to thank him for tuning in and learning a little bit about Rockwall today. Frank, what's your dream car?
One more time.
What's your dream car?
Dream car. I would say probably a 70s Roadrunner.
Okay.
I love old school cars.
Yeah. Delisa, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Just had this conversation actually with somebody. My biggest pet peeve is people chewing gum and talking while they're chewing gum. And it all stems back from when I was in high school and in drill team, and our drill team instructor would not allow us to chew gum because she told us we looked like cows chewing cud. And so I just still have that vision in my head from high school.
All right. This is for anybody. What's your guilty pleasure TV show? Please don't say The Bachelor.
Oh, I'm going to say this is just a recent thing, but my husband and I, because, sometimes a really long day, you just want something totally brainless and not and any part reality into the world that you live in that you can then associate to your day. So last season, we did guilty pleasure watch Farmer Wants a Wife.
So I know what you're talking about. I've not watched it. How was it? Was it a comedy? Was it?
Yes. Well, for me, it was for sure. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be, but I thought it was hilarious. And I mean, I honestly thought it was just like a funny joke. Oh, we're watching this thing. But we watched the whole season, and then I would come home, and there'd be times I'd go to watch it, and oh, did you watch this episode without me? And he's like, no. Yes, you did.
Yeah, you can't hide that.
So that is not something we would watch on a normal, but it was such a brainless escape for us and hilarious that I will definitely watch the next season.
Okay.
There's always a train wreck around the corner.
Oh, always.
That's the way all of those shows are. It's just this drama, right?
Yes.
Okay, Alan Lester, what's on your bucket list? You're getting old, like me.
That's for sure. Let's see. Probably owning a 70 Bronco.
Okay. Well, you and Frank can hook up and work on those old cars there.
Well, I'm building a Scout right now, but that's the poor man's Bronco. So having to settle for it.
There's nothing wrong with a Scout.
No, it's going to be cool.
Frank, what would your autobiography be called?
Start your own business earlier than 50.
That's great
Like
advice.
that.
That's great advice. Charlie, do you have a guilty pleasure TV show?
No,
I'll say Farmer once in a while.
I watch Freddie Dodge's gold rescue or whatever, gold mine rescue. I kind of stay away from mainstream TV because I'm tired of the political crap.
Yeah, we could have a long conversation on that.
For sure.
Another
It's a
reason
whole
why
nother
we created a
podcast.
show like this is where, people can have something to tune into, to learn more about the community that's not kind of geared to sway our opinions or, just pepper us with negative information all the time. Delisa, if you could meet anyone living or dead, who would it be?
Oh, wow. There's a long list on that one.
We got a few minutes. Go ahead.
I would love to go back in time and meet some of the early settlers. I just think that whole time period is really cool, and the tenacity that they had in survival, it just, obviously it shaped our country, but it's like, I don't know if I could have done that, living now. So I just think that it would be really cool to have a conversation with somebody from back in that time period.
All right, so I'm starting to see a theme here from both of the ladies. One of them's talking about survivalist. The other one's talking about going back in time so that you get all those skills that they had that we don't have very much anymore. And here the guys are talking about cars. So,
Oh, no, hey, I can tell you in a nanosecond my dream car. I want a Porsche 911 GT. I like speed.
yeah. I had to get past all the tickets when I had my sports car, so I don't do one of those anymore. All right, here's a question for all of you, and then we'll get ready to go to break, our final break, and we'll come back and wrap up for today. We'll start with you first, Delisa. If you could live anywhere else in the world, where would it be?
I would love to live in Australia. That's on my bucket list, to go to Australia. I'd love to live in Australia.
Okay. Tamara?
Well, I'm hoping that this will be a reality sooner rather than later. My husband and I have a 3 to 5 year plan to basically cash out of our businesses and start sailing the world. So hopefully the ocean would be my home permanently, or at least majority of the months out of the year. And we're going to pull our daughter out of school and homeschool her and show her the world from a different perspective, just outside of what media is portrayed, and just in one United States and one state, and just show her that there's so much more culture out there and different things to experience. So hopefully that is part of our plan, and we're going to launch our own YouTube channel so our family and our friends can follow us in our journey. And that's going to be happening. Like
That's
within
really
the next
cool.
year. We're going to, put the deposit down on our boat that's going to be built, and it's happening. We're doing it. So I'm
That is
hoping,
cool.
yeah. So I didn't grow up sailing, but my husband did. And, it took me a while to kind of get over that fear of the what if and all that. But, I started learning how to sail last year. I crewed on the Seawolf, which if you haven't been on in the harbor, it's a catamaran sailboat that does sunset charters, and they're amazing. And I learned just basics of sailing, and I'm, self-studying, and it's hopefully a dream that is why we work so hard right now to get to this point of just sailing away.
That's amazing. So basically, your place to live anywhere is Earth. You're just going to live on
just
Earth.
the ocean. We're just going to go everywhere and have no government, and just be self-governing, and just go where we want to go and sail where we want to sail and see the
Y'all
world.
got an
and-
extra room?
Yeah, that's why we're getting our catamaran is honestly bigger than my first apartment. So it's got 4 staterooms. It's going to be big. It's I think my husband had decided he wants a 52 minimum or 54-foot boat. So it's a big one. Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Come and see me in Australia, Tamara.
You know what? You just hop on a plane, and when we're crossing oceans because that's one of the places we plan on going. You can just sail along and hop aboard. We'll just sail you there.
Heck yeah.
That's
So
so
you can
cool.
make all your own sushi too while you're out there.
Yeah.
Frank, I see you got palm trees in the back, so you're not in Rockwall right now. So
Nice.
anywhere else in the world, where would you want to live?
Well, right now we're in South Padre Island, and I love it here. I could see myself living here. I'd need to brush up on my Spanish a little bit, but I love being here. But you and I took a vacation with our wives earlier in the year, and we went up to Rocky Mountain National Park. That's got to be one of my favorite places on the planet.
Yeah, Estes
I
Park.
can see myself living up there too.
Can we do 2? Because I want the colder weather in the summer and the warmer weather in the winter. So we'll bounce back and forth. I guess Tamara just sail wherever the weather's the best.
That's right. You just sail around the weather, my friend.
There you go.
It.
That's it. Alan, what about you? Anywhere in the world?
I think it would probably be either Montana or Wyoming. So I've spent a couple years going to Sturgis, taking the motorcycle out there, the Harley out there, and it's just some of the most beautiful land that I've ever seen. And I'd much rather be in the mountains than on the beach because, unlike Tamara, I've got the fear of sharks. So,
They don't care about you, my friend. They don't care about you.
I know, but I still know they're there.
I would get the
You know
one
what?
pissed off shark that didn't have anything else to do that day but mess with me. That's
That's
what
why
would
you
happen.
carry a knife. You just carry a knife on your leg and on your wrist, and
I'd
that
rather
fear will
fight a
go
grizzly
away.
bear. I'm way out of my element in the water. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather fight a grizzly bear than fight a shark.
Back when we used to scuba dive, we'd dive the sharks. They don't bother you unless you've got a bunch of bloody fish or you're doing something stupid. Barracuda will chase you before a shark will.
It's just true. I've had a barracuda chase me
Yeah,
before
they used to-
while snorkeling.
Oh yeah, Barracuda will chase you before they will any day.
Very true. I have had like a 6-foot barracuda chase me while snorkeling, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Fish are swimming in a circle around me." And I turn around and there was a barracuda. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
So scary. I've seen shark, and sharks aren't that scary.
They would be calling me Jesus if that happened, because I would be walking on water. Charlie, where would you want to live if you didn't live in Rockwall?
Well, put me somewhere around the equator on a private island, for about 6 months, and then maybe up in the hills of Tennessee for 6 months. That'd be okay.
All right. Good stuff. All right, we're going to hit our final break, and then when we come back, we're just going to talk a little bit more about who you guys are, ladies and gentlemen, and more about your business. So everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference is a new series of shows powered by the Difference Radio live stream and podcast network. This series of shows was designed to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. And we wanted to create a platform that brings awareness to and reminds folks of the goodness that lives within so many of us. By working with the local community leaders, business owners, first responders, veterans, schools, and citizens, we want to unite with a clear and selfless purpose. The Community Difference seeks to spotlight the people, events, and activities that are producing positive outcomes, inspirational stories, and incredible experiences. In a world that is consumed with negative press, media manipulation, and propaganda, The Difference, along with many others who believe and support The Difference, understands there is no better way to make the difference than to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. We are currently searching for local communities to be the focus of our shows, but before we can launch a show in your community, we need your help. We need you along with local business leaders, chambers of commerces, major nonprofits, online community group leaders, networking groups, etc., to join us in making the difference in helping your community be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So, if you would like to know how you, your business, school, social media community, church, or your favorite nonprofit organization can be a part of this unique and powerful program, reach out to us today and introduce yourself and let us know how you would like to contribute and bring awareness to the amazing people, places, and events that are making the difference in the community you love. You can call us at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com.
And now, back to the show.
All right, we are back. 3 segments down, finishing up the final one. I just want to give each one of you a little bit more time to talk about your business. Okay, we've talked a little bit about everything. We want to make sure that our shows are not more commercialized than they are humanized, and I think we've done a great job through these first 3 segments of talking about the human side of us. But now I do want the people to know what brought you to your career, and what you love most about it, and anything else that you think we need to know. Charlie, since you're up, we're going to let you go first.
Well, I got in this business. I was designing control systems for high-rise buildings. We would, control the temperature, lighting, and all that stuff. And I got kind of pushed into running the mechanical side of it, and woke up one day. I was tired of working for people and started my air conditioning company about 23 years ago. We're, it's small. Myself, Travis, my son, and my daughter Caitlin, we run it. We're looking for another tech. If you know anybody's looking for a job, let me know. But I like helping people out when they're in a jam. If their air conditioner's not working, we'll come out and treat them fair, get it going, give them the different scenarios for the best solution, and let them make a decision. Just trying to keep everybody happy, and everybody get them cool and make a little bit of money on the side.
What's something that our viewers may not know about the heating and air business that they should know?
Just you check everybody out. There's so many people in this business. There's probably 100 different contractors in our area. Big guys, little guys, truck in the truck. Just make sure whoever you're dealing with has a license with the state, because it is a requirement that TDLR has a license, that they have that license with them. And just make sure you know who you're dealing with. We're lucky most of our business is referrals. That's where probably 90% of our business comes from.
That's awesome. Let's go with, let's see, Frank.
Sure. What's the first question?
First question is, you mentioned a little bit at the beginning, but let's get into it a little bit more in depth. How did you get in the printing side of business with Minuteman Press? Talk a little bit about, the businesses that you bought out, who you serve in Rockwall. I know you do a lot with the chamber, a lot with the organizations there, but tell everybody a little bit more about you as a businessman.
Sure. Well, like I had said earlier, I worked for a paper company for about 25 years, and it was a great company to work for, but the opportunity came to buy this shop in Rockwall. I knew the owner. I knew when she opened the business, I helped her open it. And when she got ready to sell it, I told my wife that this is something I want to do. And we were able to make everything work out. I bought the business, and it's been successful. But all my years in the printing business, I knew all the local printers, and they are starting to come to me when they're ready to find an exit plan. And we put our heads together, and I just bought out a business in Terrell about 6 months ago. I bought a small business in Levon about 8 months ago. And before that, I've purchased 2 other businesses, and I buy them and I merge them into our business and operate it as the Minuteman Press Rockwall entity.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you this question. I'm going to ask this to everybody. What has changed most about you as a person since becoming a business owner?
Well, I can tell you, I was an introvert before.
That's why I asked that question, because I've heard that before.
I'm a 100% extrovert, because you have to be. Because if you're not the one out talking to people and promoting your business, nobody else is going to do it.
Right.
And meeting people and working with people is now my favorite part of the business.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? Because I was the same way. Here I am doing radio, live streaming, and podcasting, and I'm the same guy that dropped speech class 3 times in college because I couldn't say my name in front of 10 people. And it's such a liberating thing, right? When you're able to overcome some obstacles of your own personality in order, because you have to survive in business. And then you look back and you're so proud of yourself and your accomplishment. And I think God just has a plan for all of us to put us in a certain place to get us where we need to go. Delisa, what about you?
Well, it's interesting because years and years ago, when I moved back into the Dallas area, single mom, I had a choice to make, and I really wanted to pursue real estate, but it just scared the bejesus out of me on a straight commission real estate agent with having a small child. So I went into my second passion, which was education. After being an educator, finding out that I could actually early retire, I had already been back into real estate, got my daughter through college, got her out. She's doing what she's living in her best life. And so I was like, it's time for mom. So I went and got my real estate license, was doing that while I was wrapping up my career in education. And I thought, this is just the perfect opportunity because it allows me to still educate people and work with people, because I am an extrovert. I'm not an introvert. But to be more entrepreneurial about it. And that's one of the things I love. And I love being able to, particularly our teachers. I work a lot with our teachers, our veterans, first responders. And so 5 years ago, I made the leap from education into real estate, and I have not looked back. It's been the best decision. So I really kind of came into a second career that I wanted a long time ago and just really was too afraid to do it.
Awesome. Tamara, what about you? How is being a business owner changed your life? And I'm going to add another question. What was the scariest thing for you when you took the leap to go out on your own, you and your husband, without the security blanket of the corporate world?
Yeah, well, I know people don't really know anything about me, but 10 years ago, I had nothing to do with the culinary world. I actually am a trauma nurse. I've been a trauma nurse for over 10 years. So that transition into the restaurant world, honestly, I can attribute that to my husband, because I've been cooking my whole life, and just at home as a hobby. It was my happy place. It was my home place. And, everyone always said I was really good at it, but, just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it wasn't until when we moved to Rockwall, I was still nursing, working at Rockwall Presbyterian for like 6 years. And we had our first daughter, and it was a lot to be away from our kid for 16 hours, 14 hours a day. So he encouraged me to start my own clothing company, and because I liked fashion too. And so we did, and he helped get, our place in downtown Rockwall. And, we started manufacturing, designing my own clothing line, and it was super fun. But secretly behind my back, he was signing me up for Master Chef auditions every year. And it wasn't until one day they called me and said, hey, we're having auditions in Dallas. We would like you to come audition. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. They're like, no, really, you need to come audition. I was like, well, I didn't even submit a thing to audition. They said, oh, well, your husband's been submitting for you. So he did. He submitted it behind my back. And I actually did go audition in Dallas for Master Chef season 10. And I beat out over 10,000 people. And I did get casted to be on the show.
Wow.
For
That's
season
awesome.
10. But due to, passporting and all that stuff, it was the first season where they were going to go overseas, where they were actually going to cook in Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in London. And I didn't have my passport done in time. And so they put me as an alternate. They called me back the next year and said, hey, we want to put you on season 11. You don't really need to audition, but you need to show up and just kind of do a walk-on. by that time we were already starting our first restaurant, Ramen Head. So I said, thank you, but you know what? No, thank you. I'm going to take a chance and we're going to work our business and just see what happens. So, I think about that all the time. Had I gone on the show, what would have been different about where we're at today? But I'm happy with us just taking the chance on ourselves and following our dream and just trying something new, and it worked. And, it led us onto this progressive path that we're on right now. And, I'm happy for that. And honestly, if it wasn't for my husband, none of this would have even been here, because he's the guy, he's the dreamer and the creator, and he pushes me out of my comfort zone. And when I think I can't do it, he tells me I can, and we do it. So,
That's
we just
awesome.
always make it work. So we're a good team that way, and I'm grateful for that. But I mean, the restaurant industry teaches you to really grow some thick skin, be confident in who you are, and learn a lot of patience. So
I bet. Yeah. That's why I'm not in the restaurant business. But what a
Yeah.
great story. Charlie, 23 years ago, did I have that right?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
What was the scariest thing when you decided to just go out on your own? And when I say that, I know for a lot of people, the scariest thing is not nearly as great as being able to leave the scariest thing you're already living in and working in, right? So sometimes that transition is more of a blessing than a fear.
Yeah, I had no problem getting away from people that lied to you, telling you what they're going to do, not to follow up. One guy I worked for, he said, you got to be the screwer instead of the screwee, which is not a good term for it, but that's what they say. But the hardest thing was thinking, man, you had a guaranteed salary, and you're going out on your own, and it is not guaranteed anymore. And if it wasn't for my wife being a nurse, we'd have never made it. Because the first couple of years, you struggle.
Yep.
And, we've been very lucky, very blessed. We're doing very well. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I mean, could I go work? I could go to work for somebody and make more money than I make, but then I'd have to work for somebody.
Yeah, it's a terrible trade-off, isn't it?
So I'm very happy, and at the end of the day, when the customer's paying us and smiling and thanking us for taking care of them, we know we're doing something right because they're not griping about spending the money.
Absolutely.
That's the thing is, our biggest thing is my wife says I'll talk to anybody, and I do. Our customers are like family to us. We all know each other very well. We have people still with us that started 23 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome. Alan Lester, you and I have known each other for 20 plus years. I was in the mortgage business. You're in the mortgage business. I know how much of a roller coaster that can be sometimes.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about your transition, where you came from, how you got into the mortgage business, how long you've been doing it, and, some of those fears that you've had that you've overcome.
Well, being in mortgage overall, I guess it's been since 02. That's when we started working together, 02, 03. But I was in banking for 8 years before that. I was, started as a teller straight out of high school, and then went into being a personal banker and then officer of the bank. And truthfully, I was a personal banker of a bunch of mortgage guys, and I kept seeing those checks that they kept bringing through, and I was like,
Right.
"Holy crap! I want to do that." Even though I was making really good money, I knew that I could do that. So the hardest part was taking the leap and saying, "All right, I've got this really nice salary," and where we were at, it wasn't really hard to make a lot of money. But at that point, walking out and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go commission only," seeing that I had only had one kid at that point, but well, shoot, I didn't. He was one of the three. But either way, that's maybe why it worked out. But ultimately, the hardest part was just going commission only and not knowing what the unknown was in mortgage compared to banking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You eat what you kill, right? All of us, we have those businesses like that. And that's why I think we got about 30 seconds left, so I'll wrap us up. But I think that's what I want our communities to know and understand is the risk that we all assume in order to be able to serve and see the smiles on the faces of the people within our community. Because as Charlie said, it's sometimes easier to take another job and make more money. But we stay with what we do because it allows us to be the type of family person we want to be. And it also just, you get those rewards from your community every time you do something well, and you see their approval and their appreciation for what you've done. So unfortunately, everybody, we are out of time, but we will be back next Wednesday, same time, 2:30. And our co-host will start bringing guests on, which that'll allow all of us to get to know more people within our community. So everybody stick around. We'll see you next week, 2:30 on The Difference.